Well, hello everyone. It's Marshall Stern, business owner, leadership coach, speaker and trainer with the John Maxwell Group, and founder of the Business Inner Circle. And welcome to our second training video that will help you become the leader that you are meant and need to be. As mentioned in our first video, I work with other business owners, entrepreneurs, and individuals who want more out of their business, their job, their life. And I hope you found our first video to be helpful. In our first video, we discussed the difference between managing and leading, and the first law in the 21 laws of leadership, law of the lid. Today, we're going to go to the next step in the puzzle and discuss the law of influence. Leadership is not title. Leadership is not position. Leadership is influence. Margaret Thatcher said, being in power is like being a lady. If you have to tell people you are, you're not. If there are low levels of influence, then there are low levels of leadership. Leadership is influence, and influence comes from valuing people. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and that's so true. If you take a genuine interest in people, if you truly care, then your influence with those people grows. Many leaders today think that everything is about them because they're the leader, and it couldn't be furthest from the truth. Leadership is all about the other person. It's about adding value from really caring. Zig Ziglar summed it up nicely when he said, you can have what you want if you will help enough other people get what they want. A lot of people don't understand that. A subtle shift in language in our interactions is to ask, how can I help you? When the leader's focus shifts from what have you done for me to asking them, what can I do for you? What support do you need from me? How can I help you grow? As soon as that shift takes place, your influence begins to leap forward. When you ask your children the same thing, what can I do to help? Your influence with them grows. Try it next time. I think one of the problems with leadership is there are so many myths, particularly with influence. So let's talk about the 5 myths of influence and see if you recognize any of them. The first one, we kind of talked about in our first video, the difference between management and leadership. But this is called the management myth. And I think people often get management and leadership very mixed up. Management can be part of leadership, but just because you can manage something efficiently doesn't mean you can lead. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Management is efficiency, control, manage risks. Leadership is direction, enthusiasm, inspiration, influence. People often think they're the same thing, but they're really not. Monitoring what time people come into work and how long they have for lunch, that sort of thing, it's not the same thing as leading an inspired team united in the pursuit of a challenging goal. Another myth is the entrepreneur myth. Simply put, entrepreneurs make great leaders. Stop and think about that for a moment. Silly, isn't it? It makes no logical sense whatsoever. Just because someone identified a gap in the marketplace and moved quickly to exploit that opportunity, that is a totally different skill set to leadership. They could be brilliant, but that's not leadership. You truly have to care about other people. Then, one of my favorite, the knowledge myth. Yes, the knowledge myth. Information is power. You've heard that one before. And therefore, whoever has the power is a great leader. Because leadership equals power. But it doesn't. Leadership equals influence. And you can't force people to follow you. They have to want to follow you. Then we go to the pioneer myth. This again is so popular. It's such a popular fallacy. Just because someone got there first or out in front, that they are the leader. As I said, once you appreciate that leadership is a separate skill set, then this is easy to see through. And finally, the position myth. This is the biggest misconception of all, and the most dangerous. This is so common today. So many people think that's the position that makes you a leader. Give me the position, give me a title, give me the corner office, then people will listen to me. But it's not the position that makes you the leader. It's the leader makes the position. If you have the position, it might make you temporary, might give you a temporary head start, but not for long. If you don't have influence, you can't lead. You can't be effective. Simply put, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. This is such a simple point when you stop and think about it, but it's so easy to miss until you do. To be a leader, you have to have followers. And in today's world, people aren't going to follow you unless they want to, except for maybe the military. But even then, there's great leaders and poor leaders. Even where you can command people to follow you, order them. But outside the military, leadership comes down to influence. And the most effective you want to be, the more influence you need. As I said, it's scary how many people don't understand this. And again, you can tell by their language. Do you ever hear any of these things? I've tried to make changes, but I just don't seem to have a voice. I keep saying the same things over and over again, but nobody's listening. Give me the title or the position or the corner office. That's somebody that doesn't understand leadership. Do you know how many people, when they're promoted, the first thought on their mind is, can I have new business cards? Their ego jumps in center stage and demands to be recognized. I want my name on the door. But leadership is not about our own ego. It's about valuing other people. Before people are interested in following a leader, there's 3 questions that they need answered. Do you care for me? Can you help me? And can I trust you? So, I ask you, who do you influence? Okay, it's time to go on to our next piece of the puzzle, the law of process. Leadership is a learnable skill, but like all complex skills, it evolves over time. Leadership skills develop day by day. They don't develop in a day. This is true for the development of any skill, really, and it's particularly true of leadership. It's a process. It evolves. You don't read one book and become a great leader overnight. You don't attend one training program and become a great leader overnight. It takes time and commitment and a certain investment in yourself to develop your leadership skills. But if you make the investment, then guess what? Your leadership skills develop. Anyone that has ever learned to play a musical instrument or play a sport like golf or tennis or learn a language or learn to read or write, if they stopped and think about it, they know the law of process. When we stop and think about the athletes competing in the Olympics, we see evidence of this firsthand, don't we? But it's easy to misunderstand what we're seeing. When we see a world-class champion athlete doing their thing, the first thing that comes to mind, aren't they talented? Often, people will make very little acknowledgement of the years of training that goes into that short performance you see on the world stage. Dennis Waitley, who was the former head of psychology for the U.S. Olympic team, said that at the highest level, talent is equal. They're all really talented. That isn't the determining factor. At the highest level, there's something else that separates the winners from the losers. And John says something that I really like in one of his books. He says, okay, you might want to write this down. If I want to be motivated, I attend an event. If I want to grow, I engage in a process. I'll say it again. If I want to be motivated, I'll attend an event. But if I want to grow, I will engage in a process. I love that. But I think the thing that really strikes me about that is that a process takes some time. You've got to evolve through the process before the opportunity appears. If you wait for the opportunity to start the process, it's gone before you've even begun. We can't wait to develop our leadership skills. We need to start right now. We need to be prepared for the opportunity when it comes. It's an old saying, but it's every bit as true today as it always has been. Your success is determined in your daily agenda. So what are you doing today to grow? Grow in your leadership skills. That concludes our training for this module. I hope you've enjoyed this teaching video. If so, please comment below any feedback, and as well, click the like button. Also, I recommend that you watch this video again and again, as you will pick up new things each and every time. Also, watch out for the next training video coming soon. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you for watching.